Would more effective writing give you an edge at work? Grammarly can make your job one click simpler. Grammarly makes sharpening your resume.
All right, hopefully everything is sounding good on my end, but thank you guys all so much for watching. As always, for those of you that do not know, my name is Eli with Pokémon USA. We post pre-recorded videos live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are our Q&A section days. Obviously, for those of you guys that do not know, however, it is Lost Origin week, and so for that reason, we are not going to have a pre-recorded video tomorrow. We instead are going to be having our official opening for Lost Origin. Super excited about that for a break. We still have about 35-ish some odd packs, or around a booster box's worth of packs, if I'm correct, still left. If that's something you're interested in, go check it out on the channel. PokemonUSA.com. Of course, like I mentioned before, we just appreciate the love and support that you guys give us no matter what. So even if you don't enter in, please feel free to stop by and support the content. But thank you guys so much once again. If you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, comment, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But let's give some shout outs to everyone who is here, starting off with Nate5. OH, what is up, Nate? John Doe literally finished Eli's last night video. I guess I'm gonna roll with it. Heck yeah, baby. What's up, John Boy? Pika Pika. We also got ourselves one Omni. Are you doing a live break today? I think that should answer the question for that there, Mr. Omni. We're gonna be doing it tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will, of course, keep you guys posted on that, but I'm going to make an announcement about it relatively soon. In other words, I'm going to make a couple announcements because we just closed our bulk page. So bulk page has been closed. We exceeded our goal. It took us about 2 weeks. We hit actually around, what, 260, 270, and our goal was 250. And so we hit it relatively quick. So shout out to everyone that put their bulk submissions in. If you have, you should have already received your money, and if you have not, then it's probably because you just sent it in within the past week or so. But for those first send-ins, you should have received your money by now. And then one thing as well, please be aware, if you have only submitted a form but you have not sent it in, highly recommend you do so, because our system resets all of your guys' information after 14 days because we don't want to keep any of your guys' private information. And so for that reason, if you filled out the form but you haven't shipped it out yet, highly recommend doing so within the next week, because we're going to reset all of our information, and so we can get all the money paid out and get everything done. Even if it's not fully sorted, obviously we would appreciate it if you have most of it sorted, but even if it's not fully sorted, make sure to just send it on in. But continuing with some of the more shout outs, Babe Cakes, thank you. Hello everybody. James A. Arceus V box is number 1 through 5, he says. Spoiler alert. What's good, Eli? I see you're filling out your shelves in the back. Looks official. Yeah, yes, sir. So for those of you that don't know, I am a huge Diamond and Pearl era fan. It's kind of hard to see because the screen's obviously a little bit smaller, but I can go wide for just a second here just so you guys can kind of see what the destruction looks like. Whoa, let's pull this off to the side. So it might be a lot easier to see now, but I have some plushies that I have filled out. That right there might be hard to see. It's a Torterra level X tin. And then I have some of the theme decks from the Diamond and Pearl era. I've got some Legos as well. Oh, where's my finger going? That's like a Lego Baby Yoda, and then some Harry Potter Lego stuff, and then obviously some PSA graded cards that I have as a part of my collection from the Diamond and Pearl era. So, and then as you can see at the very top, some sealed product. The ETBs from Evolving Skies, the Chunkachu from the Celebrations pack, and then the trio of Jolteon, Leafeon, and Flareon. So, yeah, finally getting it filled out. I want to get super snazzy pretty soon here, but I still got some things I gotta take care of first before I start just absolutely going ham, because finances come first. Oh my goodness. Wow, only $250? Yes sir, only $250. Do the math, it's $90 for the pack. Obviously, of course, we do keep your bulk. That is kind of the caveat with it, but for most people, it's a good deal in their mind. They're like, yeah, I'll totally do that, and you get to keep my bulk. Reason why we do it is because it's way cheaper for us to do it that way than having to ship out the bulk. That just makes it so much more expensive. So it's a good deal on both ends. I would say you get to keep all of the nice shiny cardboard that you want, and we get to keep our prices down on shipping. So man, my system is glitching out right now. It's so weird. It says I have 2 people watching me on one end, but then I have 20 people watching me on another end. Interesting to see. Woots Woots just sent mine in a few days ago. Heck yeah, Babe Cakes, then you should definitely expect a payout soon. Our payout is really quick right now, so for those of you that don't know, and a lot of announcements I'm going to be making, but here's the first couple that I'll be making since you guys are here. Obviously, explain the break page. Obviously, explain that we're going to be doing the, or not the break page, sorry, the submission page, obviously the break. And then one last one I'm going to make, and this is transitioning into why we did the cutoff. So we are opening an LGS at our location. Looks like the official date is more than likely going to be the 19th of October. That's kind of what our goal is. So with that right now, in our current capacity, we're only able to store so much, but when we reopen it again, we're going to have a lot more room to store things once we get the LGS location rolling. With that, one of the things I thought would be really fun is the concept of how we're going to run the LGS. It's going to be Pokemon focused, but it's also going to have an aspect locally in tournament competitive play. So it's going to have some sort of Pokemon theme to it. You walk in the store, it's going to be a spectacle of all things Pokemon, but then also as well, you're going to have other product that's involved, but it's not going to be the center focus. We want to, focus on Pokemon, but not kind of push everything away from everyone else. With that being said, we are currently in the process of trying to come up with a name for what we think the LGS should be called, and I thought it'd be really fun if you guys, of course, can either message me directly about it, but I'm going to actually be putting up a poll both on Discord and YouTube pretty soon here. And it's going to be a poll that you guys are going to be able to vote on for what the actual name of the store is going to be. And I'm going to have you guys input your ideas. And the best part about it is we're going to have everyone vote on these ideas. And the winner and whoever basically gets the best name that everyone agrees, yeah, I love this name, I think this would be a sick LGS name, is going to be winning an ultra premium Charizard box for free. We're going to ship it to you. So that will be kind of a fun little giveaway that we're going to be doing. Kind of a little bit of a competition for those people that are actually not only incentivized to get a cool name, they're like, oh, I'd love to be a part of that and name it, but also as well would like to win a ultra premium collection. So that's kind of what we're doing. But yes. Bosch says, how are you going to be doing the Charizard UPC? Well, I already sold the Charizard UPC, sadly. So, as far as it goes right now, I'll probably get more in the future. No clue what the pricing on that's going to be because my distributors' second wave product tend to be a lot more expensive. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated as far as it goes. Lysius, what is up? Hi. Top shelf. Yes, sir. That's about right, baby. I got the popular ones. Derek and my boy. What is up, Derek? Always good to see you stopping by. Good afternoon to you, good sir. If I buy a box, will you send it to me? Well, so like I said before there, TT Payne, it depends on what you're buying. If you're buying the break, obviously, you're going to get only the reverse holo and the holo, so you're not getting a full, sealed box. You're getting the ultra rares and, reverse holos and so on and so forth. If you buy on our regular page, then you can have a full box sent to you, but that, of course, is going to be completely different. Wait, so we only get the bulk? No. You don't get the bulk. We get the bulk. You get all of the ultra rares. You get all the holos, the reverse holos. So basically, for example, you know how when you open a pack, you've got your main slots and then you've got your last two, which is the holo slot, which could have an alternate art, which could have rainbow rares, stuff like that. And then you've got your reverse holo slot, which includes amazing rares, character rares, etc., and just regular reverse holo cards. You keep both of those slots. Those are the slots that you keep. we keep all the other cards that are worth like a penny, 2 pennies, a couple pennies here or there. So it's, you know, not really worth your interest in owning it unless you really care to break down and of course go through the ones that you think are going to be worth value to you. Instead, you're like, oh, I found a 20 penny card. I'm going to post it on TCG Player and ship it out. But obviously for a lot of people, they don't have the time and energy to go through thousands of cards and do that. And so we offer an option where we keep your bulk. It offers a cheaper shipping rate because rather than spending $10 to ship, it's going to cost us $4. And then on top of that as well, you're going to also be getting a cheaper rate in regards to what you're buying it for. For example, my site is selling Lost Origin for $103, sealed box. If you're not buying the Lost Origin box sealed and you're just going with the breaks, which are the reverse hollows and the hollow slot, you are going to be getting, of course, a $90 deal, so a $13 discount, which comes out to like, what, 13% discount, something like that. So I would say it's a solid deal. We've obviously sold over 350 packs of it, haven't adjusted the price once. So yeah, it's been really fun. And I think 350 to 500 is kind of my range for breaks, what I like to do, because I realize anything more than that becomes overwhelming and can get ridiculous, and we're pushing a 5-hour stream and I'm not about that anymore. Too much for me, man. Will there be another chance to get Evolving Skies? I mean, reprints? I'm expecting there, Lysias, more than likely to be reprints in the future in regards to Evolving Skies. You know, obviously, you know, not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor. There is no form of guarantee that I can realistically tell you that is going to say that, but there has, of course, been a lot of sentiment from both, you know, trusted local game stores and other Poketubers, as well as from what I've heard from distributors, that we're more than likely going to be getting at least Brilliant Star product reprint expected, and then as well, with that, some Evolving Skies, more than likely. And that was one of the things I had obviously talked about, not only in yesterday's video, but the video before that, when I was like talking about best time to buy. So howdy, what's up, Gabriel? James A, congratulations. Tyrone, man, we've got the party in here. Everyone's hopping in. Thank you guys all so much. Have you thought about what name for your LGS yet? So like a Pokemon Center, LGS, well, so sort of, Babe Cakes, sort of like that. It wants to be very similar to it, but we want to be our own entity, because when it comes to Pokemon Centers, like official Pokemon Centers, the Pokemon Company more or less owns all the rights to it, and so they get a lot of royalties off of it. And so unless it's something that's generally profitable, it's not something that makes the most sense for us to be so focused on it, because we don't want to deny other areas of the competitive landscape for just trading card games. Because, you know, for me, I'm a huge fan of Flesh and Blood. You know, we want to get into Magic, we want to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, we want to get into MetaZoo, so everything, we want to focus on that. Of course, Pokemart USA as a brand is going to stay the same. It's going to be tied into the LGS, but it's still going to be a separate entity, because how I would like to do it is I would love to create some sort of like a Pokerev brand, obviously continuously producing more and better quality and content. Obviously still working on that part. I'm going to start hopefully getting an editor to increase the quality content, but I'm doing a lot of sit downs and not high quality stuff, so I'm not necessarily there yet for the need of it. But when we do get to that point, you know, that's going to kind of be the transition, because what we love to do is be a regional location for tournaments within the state of Oregon and any of the states nearby, because there's not really any regional tournament locations. And so being a spot for that where people can come down, travel, get points for tournaments, and then I'll be there to more or less be a part of it with you guys would be awesome. And then I also want to be able to travel for a lot of trade cons and Comic-Con events. So I want to start pushing a lot more of an event space involvement is kind of what the future is for the channel. So, but TCG Geeks and more. Poke Geeks has a little bit of sentiment towards it. UT Long, what's up, baby? Giratina's Gallery. That's kind of funny. Poke Geeks, I'm so proud of you, Eli. New move and opening in LGS. Very much congrats. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Hopefully with the physical store, you'll get better prices and allocations moving forward. Well, that's kind of what the hope is realistically, James, is that we're going to... So... I don't have access to them right now, but I do know, and I've heard of, there are distributors that offer discounted pricing rates on the more you buy of specific product. And so what the eventual hope is, since I only have 2 distributors right now, when we open the new location, we're going to get access to more distributors. Who knows how long it's going to take for the application process to go through on that, but we're hoping not too long, because we would really love to expand to like 4 or 5 distributors, be able to offer more product, be able to get more product with that, and really kind of explode from there and see about having competitive prices on just all of our product. Because you take a look at places like, Safari Zone, obviously they just have drops, they sell out really quick, and they, are able to sell at what looks like wholesale from my prices that I'm being paid, so, or I'm being charged. So that's kind of what we're looking for in the future. Of course, we want to be a place that's known for everything. We want to really be centric focused on offering great deals, offering great content, whether it be just Pokemon related, investment advice, whether it be Pokemon product opening, and then also going a direction now that things are opening up again to have an emphasis on tournaments and in-space events, store space events, where we're going to start pushing out content to help those that are wanting to get their foot in the door for the Pokemon trading card game itself, because we do believe in the game and we think it's going to be extremely successful long term, and without it, Pokemon cannot survive. Top Shelf TCG. I feel like I've heard about that before. Why does that name sound familiar? That's a good deal, yes sir. Hey my guy, long term, what do you think about the Dark Sylveon Celebrations tin and the Charizard Celebrations tin? Well, long term, I think it'll do well, obviously. Lance will probably do better, but I think Dark Sylveon's still going to do well. I mean, it is part of that Evolution collection piece. On top of that as well, it does have that Celebrations theme, and it is kind of cool that it's dark. If we go to Celebrations, let's just take a look and see what it is telling us for the sealed product of it all. Subscriber only bonuses for 9 p.m. as well, for those that are interested in. But let's check a look at the price. So, wow, that's crazy. The low is $42. I mean, you got to ask yourself this, I think, right? Which do you realistically think is a better deal? The box or the tin? And, it's relatively the same product, to my knowledge. Obviously with the tin, you've got the promo. With the box, you've got the promo. And then if I'm correct, wow, does it even say something, or is it just not loading? I don't think it's loading. But let's see if it is a loading issue. Okay, maybe not. Obviously with the box, 4 celebrations, 2 additional packs. Looks like Darkness Ablaze, looks like Battle Styles, right? 6 packs, cheapest option, more or less, $33. That's on here, right? Then you go to the tin. Yep, does not have a description, so I guess we don't know. It is more expensive right now for the tin. Obviously if someone wants to mention there's more or it's the same value, then we can obviously have that conversation right here, right now. But, I'm going to make, and let's see if it shows here. Nope, doesn't show here either. Once again, we're looking here at around the $60-ish price range. Wow, that's incredible. And then you're looking, what, $50-ish price range here, so the box is cheaper. I mean, do I think they'll do long term, if that's the important question you're mainly asking? Yes, I 100% think it will do well long term. That is my first and foremost opinion on it. Now the question is, do I think it's a good time to buy it? I don't know. It's pretty expensive, so it's not my favorite Celebrations pickup right now. You know where I stand on the mini tins. I think the ETBs are also a pretty solid pickup still. If you can get it below $70, that's not terrible. Premium figure collection, obviously, would be interested to see what the real pricing is on that. It's very deceiving. It says it's $45, but it's really $16. Prices have more or less been sideways and flat for this product. So, I mean, for what you're getting as well, it's not terrible. My only concern with this, it's really easy to ding, and as well, it's hard to store. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't really preached about it a lot. So, I mean, the Dragapult Prime is a pretty good also one if you're looking for other Celebrations product. Of course, it only comes with, 3 packs altogether, so you're really paying a premium, but you know, like I had said before, I think the Celebrations mini tin is a good deal. I want to give a shout out to Derek as well on the Prime collection. I actually think that's a pretty solid deal. And then as far as it goes with the Celebrations collector's chest, you know, personally, interesting. This is a case. It comes with 9 though, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, so this is a pretty expensive deal. It's hard, man. Celebrations prices are on the move. So, you know, mini tin, Celebrations, Elite Trainer Box, if you can get a good deal, you know, $70 or below. I like 65, 60 better, but, you know, what are you going to do, I guess? And then, of course, the Prime collection, I would say, are my 3 favorite Celebrations type stuff. But yeah, I think they'll do well long term. I used to own a Pure Shop for about 12 years, and running a brick and mortar is very time consuming, but I loved it. It is worth the time and effort and pain. That's pretty cool. You owned a piercing shop for really 12 years. That is so funny. I don't know why that's so funny to me, just because your name is Babe Cakes in your tag. So when you're like, yeah, my name is Babe Cakes, I owned a piercing shop. I don't know why that just sounds so funny that that's your name, but that's super cool, my guy. That's actually sick. What caused you to no longer own the shop? Did you retire? Did you quit? Sell it off? What was it? I'll definitely buy some. Heck yeah, man. Well, I appreciate the support. What's up there, Scratch'em? How we doing, man? How we doing? Is this FAB is the game? Heck yeah, baby. What is up, dude? How's AZ? Hope you're doing good. AZ's not too shabby, man. You know, one thing that is really sad to say, so for those of you that don't know, I moved here for volleyball, and I've been dealing with a groin injury for a while. I've been off of it for a couple of months, and I just started to finally get back in the swing of things. And I was training the other day, like 2 days ago, and I just felt a pop, and the left side, so my right side of my groin got injured. And then I popped and felt the pain of the left side of my groin, and I couldn't stand up. It hurt. I had to have people help me stand up because the pain was not fun. It's feeling a lot better now, but I'm gonna go see a doctor because this groin injury has been going on for a while now, and I can't just keep, you know, trying to prolong it or push through it. It's just not working out, and it's delaying my growth as a player and playing, so it's been frustrating to say the least. But other than that, AZ's been good. Really love the area. Transition to the move has been, you know, relatively smooth. There's a couple of things I still need to work out, which that reminds me of. I'm gonna actually have to make a quick note of that. Shout out to U-Haul for sucking. But I'm just gonna write that the other page. Call. But yeah, no, it's been good. Love the area, love the location, really cool. Obviously hot, but I'm not here for the summer, I'm here for the winter. Steam Siege TCG Tyrone Smith says, what a legend, best name ever. Why didn't I think about it myself? Steam Siege it is, have it done. Instead of a Charizard UPC, we're gonna get you a box of your very own Steam Siege. Welcome. You'll absolutely get there, Eli. You have YouTube really, to really help you grow as well. Well, I appreciate that, good sir. Babe Cakes, I second Steam Siege TCG. Could you imagine the memes, dude? Arceus V-Star Gold Star, any thoughts? From an investment perspective, from a value perspective, what are we talking here, my guy, when we're saying Arceus V-Star Gold? Are you asking, is it a future price prediction? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Like, obviously, there's an expectation that there's going to be... Wow, what is going on here? There's an expectation there's going to be a reprint for Brilliant Stars relatively soon here. You've obviously, for those of you that have been following me, you guys know where my stance is on a lot of Ultra Modern Sealed. I think a lot of it is overinflated. Except for a couple of sets like Darkness and Vivid Voltage. And Shining Fates, I would say, as well, kind of falls into that category. But you're seeing, because, you know, PSA has been closed, you're seeing this kind of cross divide between value of raw card. What the heck? Did I click Vivid Voltage? I think I must have. I must have clicked Vivid. I thought I clicked Brilliant. But you're seeing that kind of cross divide between PSA card value versus raw card value. And that's something that you just aren't going to see realistically in the long term. A PSA 9 card should not be cheaper to buy than a raw card. That just shouldn't be how it is. You've seen that with a lot of cards. So let's take a look and see, of course, what the correlation is going to be for that when comparing TCG versus. So the spread here is pretty decent, honestly. You know, it's had its divides for a while. This is based off of one sale, so I guess it's kind of hard to really give that input on it. Prices obviously lagged from a 9. Let's see what the raw is from the 10. Yikes, that's the raw from the 10? Whew. Yeah, I think the raw has got some more downwards action to go. I mean, obviously from the release date, it's dropped about 50% in value. I think there's an argument to be made that, you know, prices will probably either steadily stay sideways or go down because Brilliant Star product is still being thrown in things. But then once again, you know, is the demand going to outpace that? But if there is realistically going to be a Brilliant Star reprint, I think price on it, you know, is more than likely going to go down. Now, if you're saying, I don't care about the price, I just want to know long-term investment, you know, talked about it many times before on this channel. I am not the biggest fan right now of investing in a lot of ultra modern, just because there's so much, and I'm saying from a sealed perspective, or sorry, definitely not from a sealed perspective, from a singles perspective. And the reason why is because there's so much mud in the water right now because of the grading companies being closed, because of the overdemand, that we realistically don't know what the supply is going to run through on when PSA opens back up again. People paid, of course, the $18 price point for August. Who knows what that's going to realistically look like coming into, you know, when they officially make the prices go down to $18 again, because they said that they want to realistically make it $18 just period, and then they're going to have special deals from then on out. Who knows, 12 to 15 is realistic of a price range, I think. But yeah, no, that's something where for me, you know, even with alt arts, I'm a huge fan of alt arts. I love alt arts. I think alt arts are the future. I think there's definitely good opportunity to invest in some alt arts from sets where alt art prices have kind of tanked off quite a bit. But you know, for as far as gold V-Star cards right now, you know, too much mud in the water for me to really say, from whether it be, you know, a PSA perspective or raw perspective, is this something that's going to be good to invest in, especially not right now when prices are more than likely going to continue to drop. But of course, that's just my personal opinion, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do you think Celebrations UPC or the Charizard UPC will do better long term? Celebrations UPC is probably going to do better long term, and I think the reason for that, I could be 100% wrong, but I think the reason for that is because, one, it's going to be tied to the Celebration set, and the just uniqueness of the set is huge. Two, it is, of course, one of the few times that we've ever had a set. It's actually the only time we've ever had a set where it's had metal cards, not only a Charizard, but a Pikachu in it. So it's really going to hold a ton of value because of, once again, the uniqueness of that, and then all the other additional features that comes with it. Don't get me wrong, Charizard UPC is going to do extremely well. It's cool, it has the 3 Altards, but it's nothing new in terms of, you know, just Charizard specialty items. You know, Charizard is extremely popular. So it needs a little bit more of a uniqueness outside of, hey, look, it also has some other, you know, Sword and Shield era product involved in it, you know, general sleeves, dice, that whole, you know, rigmarole. So for me, the uniqueness of having Celebrations packs and it being part of the 25th, I feel like it's going to give some ambiance to it in the future when people want to collect it. Where do you normally post the information for your more exclusive product? I mean, honestly, I usually go to the Discord first, and if it doesn't sell out immediately in the Discord, then I have it on my, we have a subscribers mailing list for the website. So you can go to our website and subscribe to that, and then join the Discord, as that's usually when I give my first announcements on things. So how do you think the growth of the Celebrations Metal Charizard will go, since a lot of them have chipping, scratches, etc., especially considering for when PSA and Beckett will continue to grade them? That's a great question, Gabriel. I think that the growth, I guess it comes down to the terms in which you're saying the growth. If anything, it's going to grow more, because if we're looking at it from a PSA perspective, when they inevitably, I would like to assume, we'll start to grade them again, since there are so many that have, you know, scratches, off centering, chips, it's going to add more value to the rarity of these graded cards. And it's going to add to the value and rarity of the cards that are not in that kind of condition, on top of the fact that they're high demand cards. So I think it'll definitely help the growth of it long term for sure. Do you think that buying the Pikachu Zekrom is worth, but at $60 from GameStop? Yeah, I think so. I mean, what's the price on it right now for the Zekrom? Is it Zekrom? No, it's Pikachu and Zekrom. We're gonna go Pikachu and Z. We're gonna take a look at it. GameStop, $60. You can buy it for here for $60, and they're doing a 10% bonus bucks on all products for subscribers. Tough one, man. It's honestly a tough one because you can probably find it. I don't know. I mean, MSRP for it is $60. That is the MSRP price. It does come with 10 booster packs and the promos. So, you know, I think from a collectability perspective, it'll do really well. I actually really like it. Shout out to you for mentioning that because it is a really cool item. But as far as it goes, you know, you really, I guess, got to ask yourself at the end of the day, do you think it's currently worth it as it is right now to go through and buy it on GameStop? You know, if you're a pro member, I guess you get bonuses to that. If you're a subscriber to TCG, you can get deals on that, or maybe you can find it cheaper elsewhere. So it's $60 is a fine price. It's the MSRP price, and I like to base everything off of MSRP, and then from there base it off of market, right? You know, depending upon the product, you know, market I focus more on for booster boxes, and same thing goes for elite trainer boxes. And then for general all other product, I usually like to base it off of MSRP because this is a specialty product, right? If it is a specialty product, let's say, you know, Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs, it's being sold exclusively in Pokemon Center. That's why I like it. You know, Pikachu and Zekrom GX, this is, to my knowledge, an exclusive of GameStop, kind of like the Walmart with the Reshiram and Charizard one. So I like to look at the exclusive ones that don't have access to distributor products and looking at it that way of comparing it to MSRP. So I don't think it's a bad price. But yeah, if you can find it cheaper because someone just wants to offload it because they bought it and they regret it, dude, go for it. SoundQuest says ballin', heck yeah, baby. Yeah, Charizard versus 25th UPC long term. Obviously, just answered that. I actually got this same from a customer. She was 70-year-old woman, and I could not tell if she was crazy or super cool. I actually got this. You actually got this name from a customer. She was a 70-year-old woman. I cannot tell if she was super crazy or super cool. That's so funny, dude. So, like, what do you mean you got the name from a customer? Like, was that her name? That's interesting. What's up, everyone? Finally made it to the live stream. What's up, Evan? Always nice to see you. What is up, my guy? Shattered. How we doing, brother? What's your opinion on build and battle promos? I'm curious if it's worth getting build and battle promos, even though at $12 to $13 per box wise, promo wise, because you can get more value pack wise in booster boxes. It's a good question. I mean, we actually did do a breakdown of this not that long ago when we kind of looked at the overall promos. And, you know, as it stands right now, there wasn't anything that really stood out to me where I was like, oh my goodness, these promos are incredible. These promos are worth so much value to it. The only instance in which we really saw value from going through and going the build and battle rate and where you're going to get that additional promo value is for ones where pack prices were cheaper. So, for example, going through and taking a look, it should be, of course, I could be wrong, prices, of course, could always update on it. But Lost Thunder was a perfect example. Can't remember if Fates Collide also was the same for that, but there was a time where the build and battle was cheaper after there was a resupply of it. Of course, prices just across the board dropped, but as you can see right now, right, Lost Thunder booster packs, they're going for as low as $13 a piece, right? You go and you take a look at the Lost Thunder build and battle box, and of course, you know, for those people that are new to the channel or just checking us out right now, this will be a fun little look for you guys to kind of see where it's important to look at product outside of just general packs, because there are a lot of times where you can break down the box, you can get actual cheaper packs and get value out of it. But, you know, $35 This one comes with 4 packs, and it comes with an alternate art promo card. Of course, it's not like what you guys think. It's not. It's just a promo card. So you're more or less getting a pack for free compared to the pricing on if you just bought it raw, and you're also getting the promo as well as the other things. So that's where I would say it really comes down to the value-wise. If you can compare it from a pack perspective and say, all right, I'm getting the packs raw versus from here either the same or at a cheaper value, that's when it's worth it. Because if you can get it for the same price, then cool, comes with promos, comes with bulk. If it doesn't, and you know it's cheaper to go the pack route, you really gotta ask yourself, is that worth it? Unless it's like a specialty promo, like, you know, a Vivid Voltage, for example, which had the Charizard and the Snorlax. And then, of course, looking at, well, if it's cheaper to go the build and battle route and you get the promos, it's a deal. You got to take it, you know? I ended up selling the shop. I was too overwhelmed with getting my BA in biotech, dealing with an ex-boyfriend harassment, then boyfriend problems, and trying to run the shop by myself. Goodness gracious. I'm so sorry about that, Babe Cakes. That is ridiculous. Holy crap. Talk about dealing with a lot. Well, shout out to you then for, I mean, you know, you ran it for 12 years, so shout out to you on that one. And then you got a BA in biotech. Did you ever finish through on that? That's pretty sweet. And then sorry, obviously, to hear that you're dealing with boyfriend issues. That sucks. Yeah, no, that's definitely tough. But yeah, I mean, shout out to you for being a trooper and dealing with all of it. You're here now, obviously. Gennaro, hopefully I'm pronouncing that, Gennaro. What is up, Eli? How are you? I'm good. How about yourself, good sir? Hopefully all is well. Do you think PSA first edition Dragonite fossil price will drop mid 3K, or is it worth to buy first edition fossil packs? Oh, that's a great question. Let's have fun with this. I love doing these hypotheticals. Actually, let's go to sets. Let's go take a look at first edition fossil. For those of you that don't know, general fossil prices on heavies range anywhere between the $400 to $500 for first editions. Unweighted, you're pushing more $250 to $60-ish to $300 depending upon where you're buying it for. So of course you got to ask yourself, what is the value? But I think the one thing that really disincentivizes me, if we're talking about, and I can actually pull up a data sheet that I have off to the side here, but let's just take a look and see what the value just looks like from the past. What's the population? 217 on this item. You know, 10,000 was the high, 5,000, 4,300, 3,950. Let's look at the 9. 9 is probably more indicative from a trending perspective. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is still in a downtrend. You know, 9 obviously, you know, pretty similar to mirroring 10s. Obviously 10s are more scarce. I could realistically see 3,000 going, but you also have to take this into consideration. These are auctions on eBay. I wouldn't be surprised if you go to Instagram and try and get yourself connected up with some of the individuals that are selling around the $4,000 price point on eBay and see if you can get a deal going off site. I like to do that a lot of the times. You can get really good deals going off site for product. So my personal opinion is I feel like you could really get some value with that. You know, I don't know if at this moment you'd be able to get the exact $3,000 price point, but I don't see why it wouldn't, especially with, you know, the market still technically in a downtrend because we are in a recessionary period, you know? I mean, let's just take a look at some of the other cards, see how they're doing within this set. See if Dragonite's kind of a game of its own. You know, obviously less PSA 10 population report on this item. Let us take a look. CGC, PSA 10, interesting. Ooh, record-breaking sale. Is it legit though? That's the question you gotta ask yourself, blow-up cards. Love to know if the PSA 9 is telling us something different. Interesting. I mean, the PSA 9 is still in a downtrend from what we're seeing for the Gengar. And then the last one we'll look at is the Articuno. Articuno is obviously one of the more expensive ones for scarcity reasons. 131. We're going to go with the PSA 10, take a look at it, see how it's looking long term. Also performing well. PSA 9 once again on the downturn. So there is still, it looks like a correlation between the 10s that have been holding a lot stronger grade-wise, but I think that really just comes down to the scarcity of it all. That's just my personal opinion. If you look at the 9s as a whole, I feel like the 9s tell the bigger picture, and the 10s are just waiting to catch up to the 9s, because you're seeing this very similarly with just a lot of product in general, you know? Another perfect example, I want to kind of draw a comparison to this. If you go look at the Diamond and Pearl era, specifically the level X's, you're seeing something very similar kind of happen with that. Let's go Diamond and Pearl base. Let's take a look at something like the Torterra level X, for example. You know, PSA 10 prices on the overall Torterra level X, you know, for the most part, I mean, it's doing a very similar pattern, right? It's going up, still near its all-time highs, and it's slowly dropping from there, all right? You take a look at the 9, well, what's the 9 doing? The 9 obviously had its high at 401, and then it just dropped off, absolutely tanked. You know, of course, the supply volume on this is a lot lower, so it's hard to compare because this is in the 89s versus the 1000s, but still you talk from the swing high to swing low, it has dropped drastically, like 60 to 70% value. So I think you're going to see a correlation and trend where a lot of the 9s are going to be leading the way of the sense of direction, and then 10s are going to follow. You know, I could be, of course, always off base with this, but it just makes the most sense to me, because as much as it pains people to hear it, but you know, the 10s themselves, although they're more scarce, that doesn't necessarily protect them from inflation, that doesn't necessarily protect them from being in a recession, because demand goes down. Obviously things are realistically affected by it, you know, because you're going to have that one day where the sale is going to just drop off. But look, I mean, once again, you're seeing this with a lot of the other older sets, you know, base set Shadowless, base set first edition in the 10s, Lugia overvalued. Look at the 9. The 9 is the nastiest one if you want to talk about looking at a nasty price. Talk about an overcorrection, honestly. You're talking about the low 2000, the yikes, bro. This correction has been disgusting. Sick card. I mean, and it's a low supply too. 461. That's crazy to me that it's that low of supply compared to a lot of other ones, and it's going for as low as it is. You know, so. But yeah, just some things to consider. You know, I would personally say that it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, especially because the trend compared to its other holographics, it's going down compared to the rest of them. And then on top of that as well, you know, all the 9s are looking gross. I think 10s are going to follow that. It just might take them a little bit more time to catch up on it, because they do have that kind of protection of scarcity in regards to being that kind of level of demand, you know, compared to their overall supply. But that's what I would personally say, you know. Also, that 70-year-old got her navel pierced. Oh my gosh, that, I see why you didn't know if she was crazy or not. I have a couple of products that have 2 to 3 4x when you sell or know it's the perfect time to sell. That's it really. So before I go in and give my whole rant, what product is it that has 2, 3, 4x? And then I can answer that question for you. Next video, storing long-term Pokemon investments, only battle styles being stored. That's funny, John Boy. So for today's video, we're going to have a discussion about storing all the crap that you invested in because you thought everything was going to the moon, and you can't sell it at an 80% loss, so you're going to sit on it forever. So Battle Styles is the #1 product we're going to be discussing today. We know you bought it at 150 at its peak, so let's not kid ourselves. That's actually a funny video. How many Cosmic Eclipse Build a Battle cases do you have up on your site? I had 5, 6. You know, it sold out in about a week and a half, so I just shipped out my last one a couple days ago, actually. There was a little bit of a delay on the shipment because I was moving, obviously, and I wasn't able to ship it out before the move because they purchased it while I was moving, and I'm like, crap, I can't ship it out yet. So just finally was able to ship it out to the last customer, but yeah, like 5 or 6 cases, I think. Before the left, she said, "Thanks, babe cakes." I thought that was the coolest thing anyone has ever called me. That's so funny. Well, there you go. There's the story. And you're like, I'm babe cakes now. That's so funny. Were you able to ship the Lost Origin today? Just curious, because it's 2 cases and sold 2 of the boxes to a friend. I have not received them yet. I expect to receive them like in 2 to 3 hours. So I'll probably just be slapping labels onto them and then shipping most of them out today and then tomorrow. Post office closed at 5:30, so obviously get done streaming at 2:30, and I'm gonna try and drop it off. I have an appointment at 5:30, so I'm gonna try and drop it off literally within the time of when I receive it until 5:30. If not, if you can't get to it by then because they're delayed on it, then obviously it's gonna go off first thing Friday morning. So. But I promise I'm obviously doing my best to ship it as quickly as I can to you guys. It's obviously never my intention to delay it. Do your partners at the LGS specialize in Pokemon like you, or are they into other TCGs? Interestingly enough, so the individual that approached me was the guy that bought all of my backstock supply before I moved. I made one big deal and sold a lot of the product to him. And he owns his own vape shop, a successful business individual who has owned multiple stores, sold multiple stores. That's kind of just been his MO. He owns a vape shop here in Bend. He's done really well for himself at the vape shop. And he just bought the Pokemon because he's like, I just know my daughter's into Pokemon, and she's got my interest peaked in it because the story is she had a $5 necklace that she traded for a Pokemon card, and they went up and looked. The value of the Pokemon card was worth $30, and he's like, wow, $30? You traded your necklace for it? And he's like, how's Pokemon doing? And so he started doing a bunch of research, looked into the product value of Pokemon, and said there's money to be made here. And so initially he reached out to me and was like, hey, I'm just here to buy your product. I'm trying to diversify. Stocks are doing crappy. And I would love to buy a lot of your product off you for a bulk deal. And I said, sure, let's do it. And, give me a good price. We talked about it. And, I initially reached out to him and said, hey, do you want to start an LGS? Or actually, no, that's not what happened. He actually, we were chatting for like half an hour because he's actually from Arizona. And then we talked about getting lunch sometime just to like kind of, ask questions about Arizona and get some advice from him. And then he messaged me saying, hey, I've got a business proposal. Do you mind meeting with me for lunch next week? I said, sure, I'll do it. Met with him for lunch, gave me a business proposal about starting bulk together. And he explained his situation on how he thinks that, there's going to be too much regulation competition with vaping. And he is wanting to get out of it and kind of get out while he feels like he's on top and diversify into Pokemon. And, bulk's at the bottom as far as pricing goes right now. And so he thinks it's a good opportunity to kind of scale with that. And then I said, hey, well, what do you think about opening an LGS? I think we'd actually crush it in Bend. And he said, I wouldn't want to do that to our competitor. I actually know the guy. Seems kind of nice. And then, he approaches me a week later after we, get the deal done for the bulk agreement. And he says, yeah, frick that. We're going to be doing an LGS. I was like, all right, I'm on board. Let's do it. And so he, I'm definitely the most experienced out of the 3, because it's me and then 2 other partners. So one of the partners, he's just more or less wants to be a part of it, and he has invested a lot of capital into it. And then, of course, Steve's his name, the other guy who I bought my product from me. Like I said before, runs the vape shop, successful owner, and just really very much business minded. And of course, from being more involved in Pokemon, he started to understand the market a lot more. But presumably he doesn't look at it the same way I do or do as much research, because in regards to like the kind of long-term investment aspect that I do, just because this is what I literally do for a living. Like, this is what I do, so for him, he's more involved of what's the bulk pricing, what's the ultra modern pricing, because he plays the competitive game with his employees, and that's something that him and his employees actually really enjoy. So he's very knowledgeable in that scene of area. But as far as like, if you were to probably talk long-term investment on a lot of product, he probably wouldn't be as informed about it as I am. But that's because that's just not what he does, and probably working with me, he'll learn a lot about it, and I'll probably learn a lot from him as well. So I'm very excited from both a business partner perspective to be working with him, because I think we both have a lot to offer as far as it goes from the partnership. And he's really started to fall in love with Pokemon, which is awesome. And I think I think it's going to be a fun time for us to grow the business. So I'm really excited about it. Yeah, as far as other TCGs, I've also kind of talked to him about Fab. I was like, yo, you should look into Flesh and Blood bulk because there's money there. And he was looking into it. Was like, oh yeah, there is. And so, we're trying to look into Flesh and Blood, but not to my knowledge. I could be off base on this, but I don't think he really knows much about other TCGs, but he does have connections of people that know Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and other ones, if I'm correct. So, but that's part of the journey, man. We're going into it to learn about these other games and getting passionate and invested in it. Yeah, of course, no problem, UT Long. I never finished my degree. I'm 2 credits away, but my connection from RIT got me my current job. When I sold the shop, I moved from Rochester, New York to San Diego. Well, hey, man, if you're being successful right now and you never need to finish it, then congratulations to you. That's super sweet. So RIT, your connections from RIT got your current job. So what is your current job then? I want to grade EV Heroes and an Evolving Skies Moonbreon, as well as an Arceus Gold and Charizard Volt. Holy crap, we're going ham here. I want to grade an EV Heroes and an Evolving Skies Moonbreon, as well as an Arceus Gold and Charizard Full Art from Brilliant Stars. Who would you use? I think that is an interesting question to ask, Eric. The question you have to ask yourself is, 1, what is your intention to grade it? Is it from an investment or is it from a slab perspective? If it's just from a slab, I like PSA. I think they have the cleanest of the slabs for 3, especially if you don't think you're going to get like a black label or a gold from BGS. If you're grading because you want to get the most value, then I would definitely shop around and look at where the value is based off of what you think your grade is going to be. And if you're not an expert in grading, obviously I would do your research and trying to find out comparable grades, but just know this. PSA for Ultramodern, they grade relatively easy, I would say, but they're really inconsistent. BGS tends to grade harder, but with that you get better premiums. CGC is kind of in the middle between the two, but you get the least amount of premiums out of it. So, but of course with that, your grading fees are a lot higher for PSA and BGS, and CGC is the cheapest. So are you trying to grade now, or are you trying to wait off because you want to get the most margin for it, or are you still just waiting off because you want to like not spend a ton on grading? Like there's so many different things that kind of go into it. And in regards to, if you're saying to yourself, I think I can get a Beckett 10. I think this card's perfect. I think it's got no scratches. I think it's got really good front to back centering. I think the card's got nice corners. I think the card's got no whitening. Then shoot for the moon on BGS with Ultramodern product. Because if we just take a look at like the Moonbreon, for example, right? Let's go to sets and let's go to Evolving Skies. We'll give this example and move on because there's a lot you mentioned here. So I want to really focus in on this one. If we just take the overall value for the Evolving Skies from both the 9 versus the 10, so the TCG player value is currently at 418. The PSA 9 value is at, 420. So you're losing money if you get a 9, right? PSA 10 value, 723. You have to, it's 10 or bust. It is 10 or bust. Now, if we look at CGC, obviously a little bit of a different picture, $900. So there's actually more value you get the CGC. 9.5. Kind of get a little room, but if you hit the 9, then you're done. So, I mean, I guess there is an argument to be made. There's such low data, though. I mean, let's take a look and see what the CGC is. I mean, I could be off base on this. I would love to actually... Whoopsie, this is not eBay. I would love to actually see what a CGC 10 for Umbreon VMAX Altar. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what the real value holds with it. Because who knows, man, it might actually be worth it to go that route instead, if the sales are there. So, But then you also got to ask yourself a 10 versus 9.5. How much harder is that? Okay, so 9.5 Japanese. 10 sold for 760. What is the data telling us? It sold for 902. So that's not accurate. That's not accurate. So versus the PSA 10. PSA 10 it sold for 720. So, I mean, it did sell for more. We don't know what the value is on this, obviously, because it was recently sold. We can go check somewhere else. 9.5, 452, 9, 9.5, 10, 10, 9.5, 10. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, and then, of course, here's the BGS 10. We already know BGS 10 is king with that. You know, I would go through and just compare prices. Just go through, compare prices, because it's going to be different for each one, and it seems to be represented that wise for CGC too. It looks like CGC has actually gained some value with the 10s. Obviously, they're harder to get, and this one's without subgrades too. So I think this probably is comparing for subgrade value, right? Because obviously that's going to add a premium to it. So that's something to take into consideration. I don't know. Man, really? That's so interesting that CGC prices are premiumed more that way. Here's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm just looking at this, man, and we're discovering new things together. Maybe you do go CGC or Beckett instead of PSA. Do your research, but it depends on what your upside is. Do you think your upside's a black label, or do you think your upside's a 10? Because it looks like the value for a 10-wise, it's much better for CGC and Beckett. I've said this once and I'll say it again, specifically for BGS compared to PSA. I love ultra-modern grading for BGS over PSA, but it looks like CGC might also be bringing that argument to the table, and it's much greater to cheap, or much cheaper to grade from them. Yeah, man. I'd look into that. I'd say, end of the day, stay away from PSA. That's all I can tell you for definitively speaking. But that's crazy. I did not realize that. The more you know. You have Japanese and English Moonground. Right, fire, right, dude? I need to get away from all that crap back home. Now I work on the finance side of clinical trials. Interesting. So what does that look like then? Necessarily. All cards are centered well. Congrats, John Doe says. I appreciate it. I think you're talking to me. Dogatron, what is up, Dogatron? Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I was that last customer, haha, wasn't in a rush to get it, but you also had a policy of 8 to 10 day shipping. Yes, I do apologize for that, Gennaro. I do profusely apologize for that. Usually we're able to, of course, fulfill that in the 8 to 10 day shipping frame. Like I said before, I think we are probably going to be pushing on the, it's going to probably arrive to you on the 12th day, because I shipped it out on like the 7th. So, yeah, I'm so sorry about that. If there's something you want us to do for you, we'd be more than able to accommodate for that. But I promise you, it has been shipped. You should have received tracking. If not, then I can, of course, you know, send you tracking for that. You know, it was a rare incident where you ordered it when I was in the process of moving, so I didn't have access to the product because it was in the back of the moving truck. But we did fulfill your request, which was we made sure to package it nice and protected with our shipping paper. But we've always been good in regards to shipping product. It's very rarely that we have an issue with product damage. But yeah, please let us know if there's something you want us to do. I do apologize for the delay on that, but you should receive it relatively soon. Anyways, back to Pokemon. Did you start selling cards on eBay and then it snowballed from there? No, I didn't. No, I did not. Not a big fan of selling on eBay unless the premiums are worth it there. You know, I actually started, so if we're talking about the direction of how the business started, I also, while I have some people here, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate it. Helps out the channel. But anyway, going back to it. So, been a fan of Pokemon forever. Took some time off during XY era because I thought it sucked. and came back during Cosmic Eclipse. Basically, I was trying to get back into collecting, a lot of my childhood cards, but in better condition because my cards sucked as a kid. Shout out to keeping them in top loaders without having a penny sleeve in the middle. Nice. So went through, bought some old collections up, and was like, hey, there's some cards that I don't really care about here. I'm gonna sell them on eBay. And then I said, oh, eBay prices are expensive. I'm just gonna make my own website. And then I was like, whoa, prices on a lot of this product has gone up. Wow, this is quite interesting. And I've always been someone that's been into finances. I've been an investor type since I was a kid. So for me, it was something that I just kind of got pushed towards, because when I lost my job and dropped out of college because of COVID, and I wouldn't say necessarily dropped out. I have one class left, kind of like you, Babe Cakes, to finish up. But I started the business instead and said, hey, I can finish my college at any time. With COVID and everything being shut down, I've got opportunities since I'm getting unemployment to go try and see what I can do with this. So let's give it a shot, and that's what I did. So yeah, that's kind of what pushed me in the direction to starting the business. But yeah, eBay, if anything, thank you for having such high fees, because then I would, if you didn't, I would have never started my own website. Oh my goodness. That's sick. Keep those in PC. Jason K. Eli, are you planning on doing more breaks after Lost Origins? Yes. Always doing more breaks after Lost Origins. So obviously we're gonna do the initial Lost Origin break, and then whenever a new set release happens, we're gonna do a break, and then we would love to start doing breaks again for because before, for those of you guys that remember, we used to have consistent Sunday breaks, I think is what they were, where I would go through, buy a booster box, and then people would buy into the booster box. So it'd be like, Ancient Origins, Cosmic Eclipse, Roaring Skies. We would just do general booster boxes for that, and I would buy it and sell it for either the price I bought it for or for cheaper than what I bought it for. And it was kind of like a way for me to kind of give back to you guys. I thought it was fun, really enjoyed it. And I stopped doing it for a while there because with the transitional move and already having a lot on my plate, it just became overwhelming, because I was working 3 jobs and also doing Pokemon Monday, Wednesday, Friday for pre-recorded Tuesday, Thursday live stream, and then breaks every Sunday. And then also trying to ship out product all the time, then also juggling TCG player orders and so on. It was a lot for me to handle. So I 100% intend to bring it back. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And if it's something you guys are interested in, I can always put pre-orders up, because the thing is if I am not at least selling out 80% of the box, it's kind of hard for me, so it'd have to be something high demand people want, and then I'm all for offering it, I am all for offering it. Sounds like your store is in good hands. Good for you. I appreciate that. I hope so. I definitely feel the same way. Pretty awesome having those live stream pulled memories. Next Eli will have to rip and ship you the next big hitter. Hey man, I mean, that's definitely the coolest thing that I've ever experienced owning the shop online, or just Pokemon Art USA, is the opening experiences that we've had on stream. It's been so fun. It's been so many memories that have been made because of it. So, and to be able to share it with you guys is a blessing. Of course, it is very much so a blessing. So I really appreciate your guys' love and support for the channel. It's been awesome. It's been awesome to say the least. So really enjoyed the last mystery pack break. We might do something like that again. I had a lot of fun. I know you guys probably had a lot of fun with the mystery pack break. The question is that what people want? I might give people the option this next time around. So rather than doing the initial one where I was like, hey, we've got our initial, if you want the mystery pack break, we'll do the mystery pack break, and if you don't want to and you just want to buy it shipped, sealed to you, we can totally do that too. It really just is going to come down to what people want, That's kind of how I'll probably structure it. Ironically, I work for Banner, the main hospital for Phoenix, Arizona. That's so funny, man. It's always cool to see. We've got a lot of Arizonians that are Arizonians. That's probably what you guys are called. I mean, we're called Oregonians. We're from Oregon, so that's sick. That's so cool. Shout out to you guys. I'm now a part of the Oregon family. Shout out to y'all. You want best long term? Oh, long-term perspective. Ooh, that's a good one to ask. Because you got to really say to yourself, the direction that CGC is going is a lot better than what PSA is going. And same goes with BGS. Yeah, I think from a value and a long-term perspective, just stay away from PSA, go CGG, BGS, just do your research on it. Do you think Pokemon will go out with a bang on Silver Tempest? Well, first and foremost, Silver Tempest is not the last of the set, to my knowledge, that we're going to be getting. We're obviously going to be getting the more or less V-Star Universe set from Japan, which is going to include alternate arts from V-Star and potentially shinies. We'll see with that. But they're definitely going to go out with a bang with Silver Tempest in that set for sure. It's going to be awesome. How much experience in competitive TCG do you have, since you say you want to host local card events? So just competitive TCGs in general, I have a lot of experience. So my main start was, I first started competing in tournaments for Pokemon when I was a kid. Won a regional tournament, which was super cool, but I never pursued it on a national level, just because there wasn't, if I'm being honest, I mean, it wasn't worth my parents' time to like kind of fly out to a lot of these world tournaments and stuff, and unless money's there, it's kind of hard to really push kids in the direction of doing that. Like, sure, there's college grants and stuff, but it's not really worth it for that time. It's more of an experience thing. And for me, I just enjoyed the game, played the tournaments, got the pins locally, which is kind of why I did it. And it was a fun experience to do with my friends and other people at the shop. So I did that for a couple of years and then transitioned into playing Hearthstone, which was another competitive card game. And I feel like a lot of, like, once you're in a competitive card game, a lot of what you have is transferable. You know, Magic the Gathering is a perfect example. There's a lot of professional Hearthstone players that transitioned from Magic to Hearthstone because of the amount of money that was involved in it, and they absolutely dominated the sphere. And so Hearthstone was something I played competitively for a while. Highest finish I ever got was Legend 12, 12 on the server. And so just my overall experience of understanding just trading card games, how to build decks, general synergies, archetypes, stuff like that. It's always something I've just been very knowledgeable at. And so in regards to, the Pokemon trading card game, I played it for a little bit, for a couple months, did pretty well, picking it back up, playing some of the meta decks, before the most recent rotation last year. And then when Fusion Strike came out, I kind of quit because I just couldn't stand the Genesect and Mew deck. It was just not my thing. But I eventually will, of course, delve back into it as we get more acquainted with it with the LGS. So, because I do want to get more involved, because it is a fun game. I always love playing the Troll decks. The Troll decks were kind of my favorite decks to play. Like, there's a Mill deck that I want to start playing here. I loved playing Mill decks when I was on Hearthstone, so those are fun ones to play. But yeah, I mean, my overall experience, you give me a couple of weeks in the game and I'll be grinding really hard. I wish they also had a better competitive format. They need to really push competitive online. I think if they did that, that would be huge. I think you could start getting a ranking system involved with that and kind of run it the same way as what Hearthstone does. I think it could be sweet. I think it would be so good, and you would see me play the game so much more, and you would draw so many more people into it too, because then you can know the credibility of a good player. Obviously the credibility of some people because, hey, I saw that kid in a tournament online. But I think it'd be cool if you had that sort of same ranking system. That would add a ton of value, I think, to both as a content creator's perspective, because then people know, because, oh, that person's that rank, and then they start to gain credibility from that, versus it's just some random guy playing a meta deck and I see him win games here or there. You have a shiny little badge next to him, then he's going to be someone that you want to watch, because pushing it from a streaming perspective will be good, going into the light of that. And obviously they're going to have the mobile beta, and maybe they're waiting to do something like that for mobile beta. I would like to think so on that, but who knows? Who really knows with that? Will do, Eli. Thanks. I think 10 for all centering is spot on. Well, that's pretty sweet. Heck yeah, man. Shout out to you on that. Do you sell off most of your product that you were looking to hold long term since you've had to move? I wouldn't necessarily call it long term. It was more of just my back stock of product that I guess you could say holding it long term. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of Shining Fates product, a lot of Celebrations product that I was holding on to. So yeah, a good portion of it was definitely long term holds. So it wasn't, and I want people to understand this, it wasn't that I was doing it because I was jumping ship. It was doing it because would I much rather spend $5,000 shipping all of my Pokemon product that I don't have the storage to store at my new place, sell it all, and then go rebuy product that I'm able to obviously use with my new capital that I've acquired, and kind of pick and choose based off of how much storage I have at my new location, you know, for my home. That's kind of how I look at it. It just didn't realistically make sense to me, and so I'm already in the process of trying to of course, rebuild that up. How's everyone doing? Sorry for dropping in late. Well, thank you for stopping in no matter what, Jones Drew. John Joe says, I bought him on the Cosmic Eclipse as well. Got 3 of the 4. Yeah, so I had, okay, so that reminds me. I had 5 left. I had 5 in total. One person bought 1. I can't remember who that was. And then there was 4 left. Derek bought 3. And then obviously you bought the last one. Babe Cakes, all computer work. Make sure numbers match. Building a calendar with what procedures is performed. What did negotiation business with sponsors? I mean, well, do you enjoy your job? I mean, that's the most important question I guess you gotta ask yourself. How do I go about starting my own business? That's a great question, and I guess my first question for you, Justin, is what kind of business are you trying to start, or is it just general business advice you're looking for? Have you seen the Heady Hitters Premium Collection from Sam's Club? It doesn't have crazy promos, but you get 14 packs for $40. Let's do some math here. Let us do some math here. 40 divided by 14 equals $2.85. Not bad, not bad. Not bad at all, I would say. Especially depending upon what the pack selection is. I forgot what it was. All good, brother. I'm actually receiving it today. Thank you. Okay, awesome, sweet. Well, I'm glad you got it then. Because if I shipped it out 3 days ago, and you're getting it today, then it should be exactly the 10-day line. Let me see, actually. I'm actually going to look this because I want to make sure. When did I ship it out? I can actually check that. Yeah, I did ship it out 3 days ago. It says you're receiving it today. Wow. Tracking on my end is not updated. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we made it in time then. That's awesome. Sweet. Well, I'm definitely glad you'll be getting it today. My goodness. That was fast. Park and Shark for cards and Zars. Is that what your name is, Gabriel, for what we're gonna call the LGS? That's so funny. Put on a year in Phoenix, hated that weather, and moved back to San Diego working remotely. Oh, I see what you're saying. Hated the weather in Phoenix? Interesting. I mean, it's hard to compare to San Diego weather, though, so that's fair. You can't really beat that. You can't really beat San Diego weather. California weather, I mean, outside of San Francisco, like Southern California weather, it's an animal of its own. It's just too good, man. It's just too good. You can't really beat it. You can't really beat that. Something happened. Vincenzo, I just connected. Have you already talked about the 5 products? So Vincenzo, just so that you kind of get an understanding of how it works. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I post my pre-recorded videos, and then Tuesday, Thursday, I answer questions in regards to those videos. So the video itself, we posted it obviously yesterday. And then this is titled off of the video, so I'm just answering any questions in regards to the top 5 products. So we're talking about any of the top 5 products from yesterday, but most people haven't asked a question about it. John Boyd, name it Game Mart. Interesting. Red Leaf Hunting, what is up, brother? Congratulations, you won as well for the giveaway, correct? I still need to respond back to your message. I so apologize for that. I got your message on Discord, I just haven't had the chance to respond to it. So, if you want to just shoot me over your information, like your shipping address and everything, I can just get everything shipped out to you sooner than later. I do apologize for the delay on that. Yeah, it's been a busy week. It has been a busy week, but thanks for stopping by, man, and congrats for the win again. It's not early. It's not nearly as exciting as piercing, but I love my Boston benefits. Hey, you'll take that all day then, man. Do you just have one SDC for your PC? You could use your new LGS address to ship yourself another SDC. Have now that codes are $10 or codes are cheap as $10. I mean, are you talking about, so when you're saying the special delivery Charizard, right? I mean, but at that point though, why would I ever want to do that if they're so cheap? You know, I just go buy the code at that point. Okay, already seen the video. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you got any questions, man, feel free to ask away. This is the Q&A time, man, for me to answer any and all of your guys' Pokemon questions. I'm usually very, very busy with work and other things that I have to take care of in life, specifically since I've been transitioning from the move. So for that reason, it's very much so that Tuesdays and Thursdays, you got questions, I'm here to answer, man. That's what it is all about. It could literally be about anything and everything. So that is kind of what today is. That is what today is all about. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, same old with the top 5 product. I'm actually going to do another video that's going to not necessarily correlate to top 5, but I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of investing in certain product and why. And by a certain product, I mean like the pros and cons of investing in an ETB versus a booster box and all other product and so on and so forth. So, because obviously I had my videos that I made when the channel first started, and so there's a lot of things that I reiterate quite commonly, but there's a lot of questions I feel like I get asked a lot still, and that's because I just have a lot of individuals that are new to the channel, and I'm here to answer their questions too. Or they can go watch my old videos, one of the two. Would you hold on to the Pokemon Center Japan exclusive gym box like Marnie Legendary Heartbeat? I mean, are you looking at it from a long-term perspective, or what's your kind of goal with that? Because which box are we referencing here? Are you, because if you're referencing that Marnie Legendary Heartbeat box, I mean, you gotta ask your question, man. Do I think it has a good future? I mean, dude, look how much it's worth. Here's the deal, man. and this is just my general opinion on Japanese product in general. And this is coming from a guy that I know a decent amount about Japanese product, but I'm not an expert. You want to talk about someone who's an expert? SM Pratt, he's the man. So I want to preface when I say this. We are in uncharted territory when it comes to Japanese product. Historically speaking, you know, English has always been the best, but obviously we're in uncharted territory, like I said before, because since we had such high demand for Pokemon product in America, we tended to see a lot of people going and buying Japanese product because it was cheaper. Because of that, started a massive influx of product and people getting more invested in Japan and Japanese product and promos, and so the demand for that has absolutely skyrocketed. So the question you really have to tell yourself or ask yourself, is this more of a fad, or is this something that now people are more aware of Japan and their product, their specialty product, and people are willing to pay for it? Because if you look at, let's say, the Poncho Pikachu promos, they've absolutely blown up in value, and you would say to yourself, man, I can't believe people are paying that much for those promos, right? But did you ever go into thinking that was going to be something that would be possible? You know, it's hard to say on that. You know, obviously Twice Baked Jake has also helped with that. SM Pratt has also helped with that. So it's pushing in the direction where I would like to believe that just Japanese product in general is going to do well. So if we're talking about, you know, from the perspective of, and I guess I deleted that. I can't believe I deleted it. If we're going from the perspective of, is there going to be value with this box long term? One, you know, Legendary Heartbeat, it's a decent set, you know. If I'm correct, this is the set that introduced Amazing Rares in Japan. And then on top of that as well, you also have yourself Marnie. Marnie is one of the most desired after characters as it stands right now for promos. That adds a ton of value to it because you're going to have Marnie product and display ability with that. And then lastly, I would also say that, you know, with the uniqueness of this being a Japanese promo is realistically the question that you're going to finish off with and have to choose for yourself if there's value in it, especially considering how expensive these boxes are going for. But like I mentioned before with the card, I never necessarily thought that those cards would just explode the way they were, and well, guess who was wrong? So I honestly think that there is, you know, based off of the way things are going right now, I think there is value to it long term for sure. Now, how sustainable is Japanese hype for a lot of these promo boxes and everything being as expensive as they are? That's another question that I ask myself, because I don't realistically know how sustainable it is, because when you're telling me that a lot of these Japanese, you know, booster boxes and other type product are more expensive than, and we're not talking promos, we're just talking about general product, more expensive than English counterparts, and you're getting less out of it, makes it kind of tough for me to really know which is the best kind of perspective on it. Shout out to Raheem. Speaking of PSA, he just sent me a link. I just got a notification about that. Let's take a look and see what it is all about. But it looks as if there has been a little bit of an update. So, our bulk service level is officially once again open. Wow, really? $22? Yeah, I'm not paying for $22. I'm gonna have to pass on that. That's a bit steep. I liked the $18 price point better. $22? Really? Really? I figured they would have done 18, but I guess they're saying that they're adjusting for the man because the $18 was super high. I mean, turnaround time is 4 months. Who knows how accurate that is, too. So, I don't know. let's look at it again. What was the turnaround time? Was it 120 days plus, or was it 90 to 120 days? 120 to 150 days. So it's a 4 to 5 month turnaround time. Wow, interesting. I sent in my cards, it was July special. We're in September now. I sent mine in the end of July. It's been about a month now when I put in my $18 one. So by that logic, about 3 to 4 months more of waiting. So, yeah, sometime by end of year. I don't know, man. That's quite interesting to me. But $22, I'll stay away from that. What do you think about the EV Playmat Premium Collection of Pokemon Go? Want to buy 4 or 5 copies now that I would pay 42 euros each. I'm in Europe. Is that what your guys' market value is for it? Because if you're asking my general opinion on it, I think it's an awesome item. I think it'll do well long term. And you know, if you can get it for a good price in Europe, then get it for the best price, because obviously you can only compare it so much to American prices because they're so much cheaper. But I think it'll do well long term, is my answer to that. Is it worth grading alt arts with poor centering as an investment? I have a Rayquaza V and Genesect V. Nope, not at all. Not at all. Terrible, terrible in my opinion. Just take a look at, once again, the Moonbreon. Look at the Moonbreon PSA 9 versus, it's all risk. It's all risk because the raw value is the same, right? Let's go look at the Rayquaza V. Let's take a look at that example, right? Let's take a look at the Rayquaza V and we'll compare PSA and we'll look at CGC too, because it looks like CGC is something I need to be more aware of on their pricing. So look at the pricing, right? So this is for the PSA price split, 169.78. So the question you have to ask yourself is this, right? Although the split on the V is better, how sustainable is this price? Because if you look at it from more realistically at this price point compared to this price point, your grading fee is going to cost you it. If you're saying that your poorly centered card is more than likely going to get a 9, then this is your upside. Your upside is losing money. Now you can pray and hope that it hits the 170 price point and you're saying that, oh, this is actually not a fad and it's going up, which I highly doubt. Highly doubt this is sustainable growth if you look at literally every other chart. So for me, I would definitely go the route of just, if you're trying to sell it raw if it's not getting a 10 perspective. Now that's obviously talking about if we were going, let's go back to it. I never looked at CGC. Let's take a look at CGC, for example, and see if that changes my opinions on things. Because that's just PSA, obviously. No, let's see what PSA is. Let's see what CGC has to say. CGC is even worse. Yeah, the value there is just not there. So CGC is even worse, and then we'll look at the Genesect V Fusion Strike. Dancing Genesect. PSA 9 compared to raw. This doesn't look pretty. Yeah, just all risk. How does CGC look like? Yep. Stay away, man. Stay away. Definitely not worth it. Definitely not worth it, in my opinion. So, just at that point, you might as well sell raw. Shooting for those 10s, man. You're shooting for those 10s. What's your guesses on how low we'll see booster box prices go and how low you think they'll get with the next reprint? Depends on the item, John Doe, honestly. I could realistically see Evolving Skies. I know people are going to think I'm crazy for this, but I'll go back to the example of the many times we've had products such as, you know, the Vivid Voltage go from a reprint of $240 at its peak all the way down to $120, and same applies with what reprints such as Unbroken Bonds and Unified Minds going from $300 to $120. So I'll just keep pointing to that as kind of my case for why I think Evolving could realistically still hit 120 and drop below that if we do get a massive reprint. You know, Brilliant Stars, I realistically think, depending upon how big the reprint's going to be, could go down to $100. And then if we get any reprints for these low demand products, you know, or lower demand, you know, booster boxes, I still think there's arguments to be made that you could see $80 minus. So that's why I'm really patient, because we saw it. We saw it again. We saw the booster box prices drop down to $70, $75 for Chilling Reign and Battle Styles and Fusion. And now that we know that pandemic hype is over, this is possible, we're waiting for these reprints, I'm being extremely patient and waiting for those opportunities, because when they present themselves, I'm going to jump on them extremely fast. So that's kind of it. Really comes down to the demand for the certain product, but you know, I think that you could see prices realistically drop still off these reprints, depending upon which sets have them. Morning, Legend. Morning to you, good sir, Ben. I'm currently chasing all the PSA 9 Shining Legendary long-term prospect. Shining Legend Shinies. Shining Legend Shinies, PSA 9. Let's look at the long-term prospect. I wonder what the chart... I would love to look at the charts for this, because I'm wondering what the value is for the 9s versus the 10s. You know, that's kind of what I would like to ask myself on it. Oh, my supply. Wow. That's a lot. That is a lot of supply. So let's see, $60 versus $36. So definitely not even worth grading. Versus, actually, let's look at what the pricing was on this before. At one point, it was going for $200. Crazy. PSA 9. 160. Wow, glorious. Pre-pandemic boom was going for $68 as a PSA 10, and now it's going for $154. I mean, it's still up in value, but sheesh, and it's still going down. Love it. I don't know how I feel about the 9 though. I mean, 9 technically, I mean, if we're talking pre-pandemic boom, it's gone up, what, 200% value? 300% value? Versus this has gone up a little less than 2.5 times value? I mean, PSA 9's been following the 10s very similarly in pricing. I mean, okay, so let's see, 69, peak high was around 450, right? It's about a 6x return, roughly. No, that was 10. So 6x return roughly on the 10s versus the 9s. It's roughly a 10x return. PSA 10s are outperforming PSA 9s from an investment perspective. Dude, what? Okay. Well, there's your answer, man. Just look at the charts. Charts tell you all. And I mean, that's from the swing high to swing low. Even if you drop it down to one of the lower... Bro, what? Okay, let's see if we can look at like lows on the chart. Like, let's just see low, right? Like 36 on the PSA 10 versus, I mean, that's still such a greater value. Wow. Well, you've got my interest peaked because the value on what the charts are telling me is what? What? I mean, this is the Mew, dude. This is the Mew. I mean, obviously the supply on something like this is definitely a little annoying. I wish the supply wasn't so high. How we doing, guys? I just got a notification saying that we've got some buffering going. Okay, it looks like we're back to excellent condition. Sorry about that. Looks like we had a quick buffer. Glad it says that it's back to normal again. But going back to it, man, I mean, the 9 value on this card, you know, we're talking around the same time, right? It's around 20 bucks, you know, goes up 10x, then drops down and is, you know, from its low. It's still going down, but it's minimal margins now. Versus the 10 value, if we're talking from an investment perspective, you know, it did also go up 10x. How's the retracement been on it? Ah, so this one's retraced cleaner. This one's gone better. Okay, so let's look, and we're gonna compare time to time, right? So if we're going, let's say month starting at April, 20 bucks to the high of, we'll say 210, right? So that's about a 10x return. It is now looking like it is in the middle to low 40s. So you're saying about a 2.5x return long term from where we're swinging. So if you're talking around the same time frame, oh my gosh, it's so hard. We'll say 70. We're just gonna say roughly 70. I mean, because if you're looking at the lows, like that's where it's hard. Maybe we should actually compare off the lows to one another. So let's compare the lows. From the low from the 9. It's been opportunities to pick it up at around 10 bucks. 10 bucks, that's a 20x return. The lows here, it's around 40 bucks. It's around, yeah, I mean, you're still getting better performance slightly with the 9s, and you're paying, I mean, if we're looking from an investment perspective, there's nothing that incentivizes me to get the 10s other than I own a 10. You know what I mean? That's quite bizarre to me. I would love to look more into this. I don't want to use this to take up most of the time, but this is still something that you've intrigued me on. That's intriguing, Ben. Thanks for shouting that out, man. John boy. Hope you're getting to it because this is the type of info I want to look at too. That's actually something I do want to mention, John boy. If you are watching, obviously we do talk info on grading slab from raw to grading slab, but I also would love to be able to see if we can find a way to track the data value on comparing 1-to-1 ratios on PSA 9 to 10. Comparing the value data on that, I think, would be extremely beneficial. But hopefully that's something we'll get integrated in with Polka Data as we're working with them. Do you think a Scarlet and Violet Japanese promo card will be a feature in some sort of collection box in the US like the Arceus promo card was? More than likely. That's what they did with the Galar Pals. Yeah, no problem, TT. For Japanese, I've stuck with the big hitting Eevee, Heroes, and VMAX Climax. You can't go wrong with that, especially after VMAX Climax went down to 50 bucks, 48 bucks. It's a good price to get in at. Wow, I think PSA is getting slower in grading though. Yeah, right, seriously. It was definitely cheaper in July. Yeah, not really sure about 22 bucks. Shout out to Koga. Koga's here. Yeah, no thank you, good sir. Are you able to get a business account through PSA for cheaper rates? Not to my knowledge. How did you transition from eBay to your online store? Wait, how did you transition from eBay to your online store as in getting people to find you online? No, I never opened an eBay account. I was just saying that I was looking into opening an eBay account and then I never did because the prices were too expensive. It wasn't actually till later down the line that I got one because I noticed that selling certain product on eBay was sometimes better margins for me. You know, because like when it comes to my website, I always tend to push more deals because I want to really drive traffic to the site so people like focus on that. But then every so often, you know, I got to make a profit at some point. So selling on other sites allows me to get better margins there even after, you know, percentage fees depending upon the product. Damo, hey, I just wanted to give you and whoever processes your bulk shout out. Sent in a fairly decent bulk size and it was processed super quick. Thank you. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sending it in, Damo. I'm glad we had a smooth transitional process. And as always, I know it's closed right now, but when we open back up, it's going to be nice and quick and easy and smooth for everyone as well. Patrick, thanks for the content as always. Do you think the trick or trade won't be scalped? Why do you think the trick or trade won't be scalped? I mean, well, so my initial thought process, and it might change, man. It might change. My initial thought process for the trick or trade was it wasn't going to be scalped because you're more than likely going to see the Pokemon Center website put up the trick or trade packs, but they didn't. They did not put up the trick or trade packs on their site. And so, I mean, actually they did. Oh wow, they did put them up. They just sold out immediately. Jesus loves me, I lied. Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I looked for them when they first came out. I mean, they're getting scalped right now. I don't know, man. I was wildly off. My thought process was this, right? My thought process was, hey man, these are packs you give out to children. They don't have any big hitter or chase cards. They're just cool packs that you can hand out to the kids. Why would you ever want to scalp that? There's no value in it. Wrong. Look at how deceiving that is too. I clicked on it. It says in stock. It's not. So upsetting, man. Yeah, no, I was off, man. I was off. I hate to say it, but I was wrong. It's getting scalped, so check your local stores. Hopefully you can find it, man. Good on my end. Okay. Good. I'd imagine the Trick or Treat booster packs won't have the value, but scalped in big box stores will have a lot. That's what my process is. I haven't obviously been going into big box stores to check because we're so far out from Halloween. I haven't really bothered to. I probably should, but John Boy's here, like a percentage. Well, I would love to find a way if we could go through and track. It's gonna be hard to track something like this, right? I mean, you'll have to do it manually and then have a form of auto update. I mean, this is just something we can obviously discuss and just, you know, have to auto update it. But when you take a look at something like this, right, where you say to yourself, PSA 9 value from the swing high to swing low where it's currently priced, and from the swing low to swing high from when you first bought it at. PSA 9 value is greater than the 10. So if there's a way we can have a data collection of, hey, price value percentages on ROI return from swing low to swing high on PSA 9s have actually been greater than 10s, is something I would love to follow. But obviously that might be harder. Sorry for the head scratcher, mate. Happy to see you didn't shut me down. Love your work, brother. I would never shut you down, man. Of course not. I don't shut people down that ask questions, unless you're trolling me to an extent where I'm like, all right. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it. Pokemon USA Instagram. Shout out to being active. Well, it's funny you say that because I still need to respond to your message there, John Boy, but I was talking to the SEO guy, and he had this, or one of my SEO guys, and he was he was having me work on running the software that kind of pushes out content on all of my product all at once so that I can try and help my SEO more. Sold out a few days ago. Dang, I must have missed it, man. I didn't even realize I had it on the site. Scalping on eBay, those Halloween packs, dude, what a joke. The booster packs get scalped and these poor kids don't have a chance to get it. Candies and buckets. People should not buy second-hand market for this. When is your box break? Friday, right? Yes, sir. TT. Friday night, good sir. I'll make an announcement about it later, though. If there would be one product to just let the kids have it, it would be this one. But oof, man, that's what I'm saying, dude. Understand? I'll make a test chart. Yeah, that'd be sick if we could do a following chart. Obviously, getting the UIN software on this with Polkadot would be nice when they go live with their remodel. I don't know. We'll see what that kind of looks like. I hope they'll add some of those additional features. That'll add a ton of value to it. But I would love to just be able to like CSV all of their information and then just us have like red, green, red, green, red, green on why it's better for certain ones, like which one makes more value, and then we can go and pick and choose. That'd be super nice to do. But, all right, guys, we're in the last 4 minutes. We're wrapping things up. So, because we're in the witching hour, and I'm hungry. So, almost at that 2:30 mark. But, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the content. As always, make sure to leave a like and smash the like button, guys. Don't just hit the like button. Smash it. So, but I appreciate all you guys once again, as always, for stopping by and supporting the channel. Wouldn't be able to do it without y'all. Would not be able to do what I do without you guys. Oh no, didn't mean to do that. Why did it do that? Stop it. Sorry. I'm saving files. I was uploading it. That's why I was sidetracked. Why is it opening up on not Chrome, but isn't it opening up on Internet Explorer? Gross. Smashed. Appreciate the live stream. Dad, thank you very much. And thank you, Derek. Thank you, man. I always appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys as well. I've seen a lot of LCS make their website the same name as their store. Do you mean LGS, or are you saying LCS is in local card stores? I assume that's kind of what you mean. Local card stores, local game stores, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I don't want to necessarily do that, though, because there's a lot of copyright that goes into that, and trying to disassociate, or trying to, like, keep the rights to my own branding. You know, because it's a separate entity. It's a separate LLC that we're going to be running. So, where can I join your members club on your homepage? So here's the thing. With the members club, what it originally was intended to, and it's going to evolve and transform pretty soon here, hopefully. But the members club, the whole idea was it was more of an incentive structure for after you've spent a certain amount, you get access to the page, and then you get discounts for a year on product, more or less. That's kind of how it works. So it's an application process. You message me, I get back to you on it, and I'll say, hey, did you pass? Did you not pass? Which that reminds me, I just realized there's someone who had asked me about it, and I hadn't gotten back to them about it. And it's been like 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. Wow, I am slacking. But I've been so busy, and I haven't had a ton of product to really add to it. So I'm going to, in the future, going to be adding to it soon. But we're doing a transition. We're coming off of Wix because we want to add additional features. We want to do in-store credit. We want to be able to add other additional features to the site, such as limitations on products, so we don't have to monitor people buying ultra premium collections and stuff like that. And then also we want a more enhanced feature for the website for you guys to be able to have a really good experience on getting discount badges and so on and so forth. So that's kind of what future plans are, but obviously we're not there right now. So although we do have the member page up, there's not a ton of benefits to it at this very moment in time. So, but I'll of course keep you guys posted and update on that as things transpire. But yeah, a lot of things in the work. It's just sadly it just takes time on everything. So we're just doing the best we can to just push out as much quality content as we can right now, and then hoping to hoping to have it all grow as well at the same time. But yeah. But as far as it goes, everyone, that is it for our finale. 2:30 it is. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in on Friday, where we're going to be doing our break live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be making an announcement for that relatively soon here, but can't thank you guys enough all once again for the love and support. As always, I'm Eli with Pokemon USA. Make sure to like and subscribe to enter into our weekly giveaways. But that is all. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you guys.